Begin. So welcome everyone and thanks for joining us today for this session. My name is Alexandra and I'm the Money Counselor at the Mo Money Financial Literacy Resource Center. The Mo Money Financial Literacy Resource Center and the Mohawk College Alumni Association, in partnership with the Canadian Foundation of Economic Education and the National Bank, have created a series of Mohawk College student facilitated financial literacy webinars titled Wealthy Wednesdays. So welcome to the first webinar of the series, Living a Financially Healthy Life. The goal of this workshop is to help you develop a healthy attitude towards money. So first I want to start by doing a land acknowledgement. This session is delivered from Mohawk College. We are situated on the traditional and unceded territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe nations within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon agreement, and is currently home to many indigenous people from across Turtle Island. Now, I'm just gonna share with you very briefly what is Mo Money and what we do at Mo Money. So Mo Money is a money management center focused on two goals: helping students develop critical financial skills and providing students with the resources and training to use those skills. How do we actually accomplish those goals? So we have three services that we offer. The first one is one-on-one money counseling, because money is worth talking about. So what we do is we have, if someone wants to meet with the money counselor with me, you just need to book an appointment, and this is going to be a free and confidential appointment where you can discuss any financial concern you may have about your budget, debt, how can I improve my credit, how can I start a saving, I want to create an emergency fund, and much more about investing and anything. Is going to be a one-on-one meeting. We also are constantly planning events and workshops like this one to help you build your confidence in money management. We are building a library on our website of all the workshops we have done in the past, so you can access them whenever you want. This one is going to be there soon. And also we have some financial resources. We have developed a great resource for our students, is the Money Matters module. So this is a module that you can find on My Canvas. You go to all courses and you find the Money Matters. This is a module to help you improve your knowledge about all the different stuff regarding money management, building a budget, debt management, start a business, even learning about your money personality is a really good tool. So I encourage you all to take a look at that tool. And also we have some financial resources, tools, and calculators online. You just have to visit our website. How can you connect with Mo Money? Follow us on social media. Those are our handles for Instagram and Facebook. You can also complete the Money Matters module, book an appointment with me. That's the link. Join us for an event. And if some of the faculties, they want to have us to present, we do that as well, and visit some of the classes and do presentations. What are the benefits of attending our workshops? So first of all, in addition to learning new skills and information to better understand and manage your finances now in the future, you will be able to add this session to your co-curricular record. If you don't know, that's a tool for students to track this experience or anything that you do outside of your regular program, your academic program. So that will help you to apply for awards, that will help you to build your resume. So if you haven't created your CCR, I invite you to do it. It's a really good tool to have. You need to register your attendance. We will leave the link in the chat so you can register using the code Mo Money for Me. Also, you have the chance to win prizes. If he has been very generous in offering a chance for participating students to be entered into a draw to win one of 450 Tim Hortons gift cards. You just need to complete the pre-survey and the post-survey to be entered into the draws. And if you attend 4 out of 6 of the Wealthy Wednesday sessions, your name will be entered into a draw to win $250 in cash. Finally, if you attend 4 out of 6 of our Wealthy Wednesday sessions, you will also be eligible to earn a financial advocate badge. Now I'm going to pass it over to Lindsay from the Mohawk College Alumni Association, who's going to share with us some really important information about the association.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lindsay Diamond from the Mohawk College Alumni Association. I've been with the college for many, many years, so I'm super excited to be here. Just a little bit about alumni. So once you graduate from the college, you become an alumni of the college, and we never take that away from you. My role is really cool. I get to make connections with students while they're on campus and then help with that transition out. And we do that by partnering with these amazing departments on campus, such as Mo Money, to bring these workshops to students as well as recent grads. So my key message today is start following us on social media. We have lots of events and workshops. Almost everything we do is free. So I encourage you, if you have the time, come on out. You can start building your Mohawk network and stuff, because we always invite alumni to events and such. So follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and check out our website, mohawkcollege.ca/alumni. And with that, our feature presentation. So I am going to hand it over to Samuel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Samuel, and I will be leading the presentation today. And I believe you heard so much about the more money and from the school itself. And so today I'll be doing a presentation on living a financially healthy life. And before we start right in, I would like to introduce myself a bit. My name is Samuel, and I am in the Mohawk College. I'm studying the business analysis program. And this presentation, it's a partnership between the Canadian Foundation for Economic Education and also with the National Bank of Canada. And they are the school to basically help give people in the school the knowledge and the foundation about money. And so today I have the honor to lead the presentation for today. So why this presentation in the first place, or why do they organize these events? The main purpose of the event, this is one of many events that the CFEE, with in partnership of the National Bank, is doing. And the main purpose is to support and help students. And also because now we are all aware that we live in a financially complex world. We have credit cards, we have PayPal, now we're even entering the phase where there's cryptocurrency. And so with day in, day out, we would attest that we are in a financially complex world where at least you have to be aware of how money works. And like I said before, because of this is happening because of the partnership between CFE, which is the Canadian Foundation for Economic Education, and the National Bank of Canada, and with other universities and colleges like Mohawk. Before we dig right in, around 2020, the CFE did a survey for about 1,500 students, and some of the results they found about money was interesting. These are some of the results they found. The first one was the fact that many people in school have financial burdens. And also, even after they start making money, they have difficulties preparing budgets. And so from the over 1,500 surveys that they got filled from students, these were some of the answers they got, and they decided to put this event together so that it would be the foundational resource for our financial education. And so just to get it started, I want to ask, what is financial freedom?
Passive income.
Passive income. Well, so if you are not aware, this is a hybrid event. We have a few people here in person, and many of you are online. And so I will try to interact with those here a bit. And so we have Rian here, and she says that financial freedom is passive income. And so if you have any idea what you think financial freedom is, you can go to the text and write it in the text, and I would read some of the things I see in the text. Well, we heard that Rian said financial freedom is passive income, right? But what we know, I would like to break the word down. Financial freedom. I mean, freedom basically means being free of something and not being tied 100% to something. And so when a child is free of the parent, to mean that the child is not being 100% controlled by money. And in that sense, so financial freedom means that you are able to make life choices that is not 100% bound by money. And so it's not every day, your everyday choices should not always be bound on money. And so financial freedom is being in that space, life space, where you are able to make those choices that is not always bound on money. And so that is basically what financial freedom is. And part of that, like Ryan said, is passive income, because you need to have some money coming in so that you can have that space to make choices that is not bound on money. And so today we are going to talk about three things. Basically, goal setting. So how to set goals, financial goals in that regard, budgeting and spending, that would be the second part, and then savings. And so that's what we are going to talk about today. After this workshop, we believe, or I hope that you'll be able to make more financially informed decisions, and at least you'd have an idea about how to create a personal budget. And that's also important. And at the end, you have the idea of what compound interest is and how you can apply that to your savings. And so without much ado, let's get right into the first part, which is goal setting. What is goal setting? So again, I would come to my people in the team. Any idea? I'll be doing this if you're comfortable with that a while. So let's have a discussion. It's the advantage of you being in person. So yeah, what is goal setting? And any question I ask, if you are there, you can throw your answer in the chat and I'll see it and hopefully go to it and read it. So just a rough idea, what is a goal? What is a goal setting? Just a discussion. You can.
A dream.
Yes, so someone says goal setting is a dream.
Yeah, I agree with that. An attainable dream.
An attainable dream. So we have a dream and then we have an attainable dream. And so let's try to combine those two. So a goal, as we heard, is a dream, but it should be an attainable dream. And so I could have a dream that I want to, say, go on the moon one day, but how attainable is that? And so you have to differentiate what a goal is and what a dream is. And So the purpose of this is goal setting. It's something that you have to set. It's not just a dream, but a goal is actually having a plan for that dream. A goal setting is having a plan for that dream. And so we have many dreams. I would like to buy 10 houses one day. I would like to have the fanciest cars of all days. But if I'm not able to set or plan for those goals, it would be very difficult for them to actually come true. And so goal setting is it's actually having a plan for the things you would like to achieve in the future. And so that's the first part of this presentation, that you have to be aware that in any financial target that you want, it's a goal. Whatever you have is a goal, and you have to be active and set goals for it. So you have to set down or have a plan for it. And so we are going to talk about how we make decisions about money, how important it is to have a roadmap. And that's what we are talking about, goal setting. And then also what SMART goals are. I'm pretty sure many of us here have heard about SMART. And just a quick, I feel like someone wrote something in the chat. Okay. Can everyone see me? Someone says that the presentation, the video is not really, it's shaking at his or her hand. It's an anonymous person. So I hope that I hope it's working now. And if not, kindly let me know. Probably maybe from the internet, but everything works fine. And so let's move on. What are some of the factors that influence how you make decisions on money? What are some factors that that influence how you make money? Factors that influence, and some of the factors that influence me, I have to be confessed, it's just because of their brand. And so sometimes I buy certain things just because it's cool to have those things and it's nice to have those things. And these are things that influence the decisions we make on money. And so we did a survey again, and these are some of the things that influence people to make money decisions. Some of them were confidence. Actually, some were also the habits they have in their life. They are so used to every day at certain times, they would eat certain foods or they would buy certain things. And though they are not fully aware of these things, we are always caught in the habit of things. And so these are some of the factors that influence the decisions we make. And as you can see on the screen, there is peer pressure, which can come from your family, your work environment. And sometimes we also make emotional purchases too. We buy things because, oh, we think we deserve it, or because if we buy things like this, certain people would probably like us more. And so the essence is that we want you to be aware that at least certain money decisions you make, it's influenced by some things, and be aware of some of the things that influence these decisions. And so how do you, once you're aware of these decisions, how do you make good money decisions now that you're aware that there are factors? And I think the first step is to think about your thinking, as is in code. So you have to be aware of what is making you buy the thing that you are trying to buy in the first place. Well, you have a car, but why are you buying that brand in the first place? Is it because it's just a fancy car and everyone will think it's a cool car? Or is it because you need to get from point A to point B? Or is it because everyone at your work environment or your school has that particular car? Whatever it is, you have to be aware. And so one way to make good decisions is to think about your thinking. And also you have to be aware of what your opportunity cost is. So if I have $100, for example, and I can buy A, or A costs $100 and B also costs $100. If I pick A, the opportunity cost is what I did not buy. And so you always have to be aware of the opportunity cost of buying something. So when you spend money now, the opportunity cost is the savings you could have saved or the things you could have bought in the future. And so always be aware of the opportunity costs that come with your with the things you buy. you also have to be aware of future trades-off. That's basically what I spoke about the opportunity cost. And also, don't be in a rush to buy things. The things you are buying now, can you really afford it? Now, because I'm here in Canada and in the environment here, when you are 18 and above, if I'm correct, you have access to credit cards. And so because of that, many of us buy things with money that doesn't really belong to us and things that we can't afford the cost. And so that's something that you have to be aware of. And talking about that, that brings me to it. So are we saying that don't buy things at all because you are influenced or not? So you have to know what is a need and what is a want. And so if you can, in the chat, you can type what do you think is a need? Well, what is the difference between a need and a want? Just try anything. What do you think is the difference between a need and a want?
I want is something you would like, but you can't really afford it.
Want is something I would like, but can't really afford it. That's good. And a need?
The needs is a necessary cost.
And a
Like
necessary
rent,
cost.
groceries.
Okay, like rent and groceries. That's not from me. That's from our participant here. But I think that she has made a good choice. And in like the very basic terms, like she said, a need is something that you actually, I was come to use the same word, something you need to live. But a need is something that is necessary or something that is essential for your life to function normally, right? And so the basic need when we speak outside the financial zone is the need for air. You need air to live and to function. And so when you don't have access to air, you will not be able to live or function properly. And just as in our current lives that we are in, there are needs, there are financial needs, things that we can't do without, just like what Brian said. We need to pay rent. If you cannot pay rent, you would not be able to live where you live. And so those are needs. But then what is a want if that's a need? And want is basically, in my own words, something that can improve our life. So an example would be, I need to pay rent. I need to have a room to live. If I'm a single person, I can live in one room. I can decide, I can survive in one room. However, a want is me thinking, even though I need to have a place to rent, I want a 2-bedroom apartment so that if my friends come over, they also have a room to stay in. And so that's the want. You have to be able to differentiate what your needs are and what is a want. And so that's what we've just spoken about. A need is things that are essential for living. And a want is something that makes your life enjoyable. You can live without your want, but it makes your life enjoyable. And so let's move on to our next slide, some shopping tips. If you ever been to grocery shopping, what are some shopping tips that we can have? Well, there are certain shops that sell things in bulk. And so when you are shopping, you have to compare the unit pricing as against buying in bulk. Which one makes more sense? And on personal experience, when I first had this concept, I started buying everything in bulk. Even though I live in a 2-household house, we started buying everything in bulk. And then I realized that the things we were buying in bulk, we're not using everything. So they were beginning to expire. So even though it makes sense, sometimes you have to really analyze things. So we had to move back to buying things in the unit pricing. But it's good to have this idea in your head so that it will come a point in your life where if you can, say if you live in a shared apartment with friends and you can buy things in bulk, it's better to buy bulk. And one thing that helps is also to have shopping lists. People just walk to a shop without any plan and then they start to pick things. It's better when you always have a list. Okay, I'm going to store A, say Walmart, say Kaufland, or wherever you're going, and know that I'm going to buy A, B, C, D. And so when you go and you have a list, it will guide you to go to the house you need to go buy the things you need to buy first. And then if you have extra money, you can buy some things. Also be aware of sales. We all like sales. Everyone likes to buy things on discount. And you have to be aware of the shopping app called Flip and Ribi. a bit of a personal experience. I'm doing a co-op now, and that's like an internship in the program, and I'm working at the Fortino's head office, which is a supermarket here. And I just realized how powerful Flip as an app. So for those of you who are not aware, Flip is like an app where they pull the data from all the stores that have having sales in a week. And so if you want to buy, say, even bread, you can just download the Flip app and type bread. And it will pull all the bread prices from all the shops, and you see the different prices. I haven't really used it before, but I am part of the team now that is feeding prices into the Flip app. This is just a personal thing, so something for you. And I saw how much things that go on sale. And so now I downloaded the Flip app because I know how powerful it is. And now when I need to buy something, I have the time, I go there and check what is on sale, because I've now been aware how much the prices of things can drop. And so that is also good to know. FYI, I also worked in Walmart some time back, and I realized that sometimes certain brands that you think are not good, say the famous brand, especially from chips, the Walmart brand of chips and Lay's chips are from the same warehouse. So sometimes you are buying things and you think it's nice, but they are literally made in the same place by the same people. It's just the branding that is different. And so we are making you aware of some of our, the shopping tips and tricks that you can use, which would eventually help you. And still talking about goal setting. So you have to be aware of things that influence how you make your decision. Is it your emotional purchases? We've also discussed about goal setting is not just a dream, but having a plan. And now we are about how to build a roadmap, a financial roadmap, which is also a very important aspect. The first thing you have to know is that goals have an impact. Every goal that you plan has an impact, and achieving goals also inspires us. And talking about achieving goals, I have a question which I'll put on the screen right now. Does money buy happiness? This is interesting. If you are available in the chat, you can put it in the chat and I would see it. What do you think? Does money buy happiness? This is a discussion I've had with my friends. People say yes, people say no. What do you think? Does money buy happiness?
I don't think money buys happiness.
Really?
Really,
So-
because you can buy all the things in the world, but at the end of the day, you can't buy relationships with other people. You can't
Okay.
buy experiences.
Okay. So Ryan, who is here with us, saying that she doesn't think money can buy happiness, because if I remember what she said correctly, you can have all the money and may not be happy, and it can buy the relationship and experiences. Okay, so she is on the side that money cannot buy happiness. What do you think? I think this is a very interesting topic. However, I have a question for you, Ryan. So if I give you like $2,000 right now for free to take, is it going to make you happy or not?
It would make me happy because I know I have debt to pay off. But at
Okay.
the end of it, there'll still be more debt to pay off.
But at least that money might influence
It'll
your,
make me happy for a little bit.
it will make you happy for a little bit. Okay. So back to what we are saying, does money buy happiness? The summary of it is, there's no right or wrong answer. So this is my understanding based on the exposure and the notes I have, right? Money doesn't really buy happiness. However, I believe that it influences how happy you could be. So Rand made mention that if you have money would not buy the good relationship with friends, and it can also buy the experiences you have. But money can ease the experience, right? If you have friends and you like to go to a nice place, you kind of need money to buy the gas. You need money to, in a way, make this experience, real. So money doesn't buy happiness. Just having money alone won't make you happy. However, money influences the life we live now, whether we like it or not. Money alone would not make you happy, but money would ease, once you're on a good path, the relationships you have, it will also help you get the experiences we have. So up to now, there's no direct answer whether or not money buys happiness, but at least it influences our money. And then it's if it influences our money choices, then it's best to have a control of our money and plan so that we can have proper or more solid experiences and relationships for money. And so there is a short video that I would like to play for all of us, just what we talking about, what is goal setting and everything. And so this is a short video for all of us to watch.
So what is a SMART goal? Well, let's cover the definition of a goal first. A goal is the desired result that you envision, plan, and commit to achieving. But most people never reach their goals. We live in a microwave society. We want our dreams and we want them now, without putting in the work to get there. But goals are achieved in a slow cooker. It takes time, which means small, intentional steps every day. Chris Hogan, a leadership and retirement expert, says,
A dream
of a goal first. A goal is the desired result that you envision, plan, and commit to achieving. But most people never reach their goals. We live in a microwave society. We want our dreams and we want them now, without putting in the work to get there. But goals are achieved in a slow cooker. It takes time, which means small, intentional steps every day. Chris Hogan, a leadership and retirement expert, says,
a dream without a plan is a wish.
That was weird. That's why New Year's resolutions rarely work. In January, you can't find an empty Stairmaster at the gym, but by March, it's a ghost town. Where did all those people go? Well, we don't need an in-depth Dateline investigation to figure out what happened here. They didn't set SMART goals. Goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-sensitive. Setting a resolution to lose weight won't cut it. But if you set a SMART goal to drop 20 pounds by March 15th by going to the gym 3 times a week and cutting out milkshakes, you'll be more likely to succeed. At Ramsey Solutions, we recommend you set goals in 7 areas. Achievable, relevant.
And so as you just saw, that's just a short video on SMART goals. And that's what we are going to talk about for our next chapter. What are SMART goals, as you heard in the video? What are SMART goals? It's as if you can see the screen, it's just what's the word? Every alphabet in the word SMART has a meaning, and many of us may or may not have heard it before, which is having the goal has to be very specific. It has to be measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely or time bound. And so that is the meaning of SMART. So when you have a goal like I would like to buy a house, that is a goal. But is that goal really SMART? Does it fulfill this category? Is it very is it specific? Yes. Is it measurable? How do I measure such a goal? How do I achieve it? How realistic is that goal, and how time bound? And so that is what that video was talking about, that we are able to have a SMART goal. So this is like a template where it's also for those of you who signed on before joining, we will send you the link, and this is part of just a template where you can use if you decide to, which it would help you to break down your goals into SMART goals.
Samuel, do you want me to show the poll?
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go. Can you
And
see
so
it on your end?
I see it on my screen. Do you see?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
so we are sharing a poll on the Zoom link where we are asking. So I'll read it for you since you're here. Which of these are SMART goals? Select all that apply. So just the first one is when you exercise 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Is that a SMART goal? The second one is the goal is exercise to lose weight. The third one is complete my math assignment by Thursday and hand it in at Friday's class. The other goal is sleep better. The other one is to volunteer and enrich 1 month. Within 1 month of graduation, land a job in my field of study. And there are a few examples. So which one of these is a SMART goal? And again, SMART has to be, it has to meet all the requirements. It has to be a very specific, measurable, action-oriented or attainable, realistic and time-bound. So what is a SMART goal?
Okay, we'll give folks maybe 30 more seconds and then I'll show the results.
So a few more seconds, there's a link in the chat, I believe, or the post, and you can just answer that. We'll see what people think is a SMART goal, and we would review their options. So the results are out. Can I share it? Well,
Can you see those, Samuel?
yes, I can see them. Can
Okay.
I? Just to pull it on the bigger screen, this is what we had. Which of these? Well, 9 out of 10 chose that exercising 30 minutes a day is a SMART goal, and some said exercise to lose weight, complete my math assignment by Thursday. But no one chose sleep better, so I assume no one would like to sleep better. Okay, that's interesting. And yes, but just like we discussed earlier, all these are goals. All these are things we like to achieve. But a SMART one is the one that has, it's a very specific goal that you can actually, you can measure. To measure something, something has to be time bound, you know, and it also has to be real enough for you to be able to achieve it. And so as when you choose to exercise to lose weight, that is good, but it's not very specific enough. At when do you want to, do you have 10 years to lose the weight or 1 month? So it has to be very specific and time bound. And so that is what we mean by a SMART goal. So that was just an example of SMART goals. And moving on, here in Canada, this is very specific to Canada about retirement. Many of us have, because we think we are relatively young, we haven't really thought about pension and how it's going to be like, because we think, oh, we have so much time. So just a quick breakdown of how the retirement and pension plans are. So there are private and public pension plans. However, it seems like the public ones are relatively more common. And the biggest one is the Canadian Pension Plan, which is available to all Canadians who've contributed before. So that's automatically deducted from your income once you're working. And the maximum you can get is around $15,000 a year. But the average person is getting 9,300 Canadian dollars. When you think about that, when you don't really plan and you think that you'd want to rely on a pension plan, think about it. If, assuming you're able to get the maximum of the CPP, the Canadian Pension Plan, which is 15,000, you'll be getting around 1,250 Canadian dollars a month. That's not enough for even now our current lifestyle here in Canada, especially during the after COVID period where things are increasing. Also, there is the OAP, which is the old age security, and which is normally if you've lived in Canada for about 10 years, what they would give you. But that's also not much. And you get an average, or the maximum you can get is around 7,700 a year. And so again, all we are making you aware of is to be aware that you have to, in a way, start thinking about your retirement, even though you have some, you have time to work. It's good to have these things. And so for making a retirement a goal, you have to, like what we've discussed, set SMART goals, and you require savings in order for you to even have a proper retirement. And you are hearing this, so maybe it's a key that you have to start early. Just think about retirement or your pension once in a while. And so this is the end of the first session. And what was the first session about, and what are some of the key takeaways? The first session was about goal setting, and we became aware of some of the things that influence us to make money decisions, like peer pressure, like your habits, like your culture, and also like your emotions, and how to make good money decisions. The second one was, if you set goals, you have to have a roadmap. How to, okay, I want to achieve this. Say, for example, I want to have 1,000 by the end of 6 months. How do I go about it? If I divide 1,000 by 6, what will I get? And every month, how much do I put in? And even doing that falls under having a SMART goals, because now you've made it a very specific and you can measure, because in the example I gave, I said 6 months. And so that's the thing that I hope that you're able to take away in the first part. You have to be aware of the decisions that you make and make SMART goals. Moving on to the second part of the presentation, we would talk about budgeting and spending. We would have a fair idea what a budget is, how it works, and the types of budget we have. And so first things first, I think there might be a poll for this. Do you even have a budget? I would like, there's a poll up. And so I'll ask you, have you ever created a budget before?
Yes, we have I suppose I have a budget book. We call it
Oh,
a
wow.
Bible.
Wow.
It's thick.
That's an budget book. Sounds like a Bible.
Yeah, well, it pretty much is the size we saw the picture of it.
Right.
But we do that monthly.
Oh, that's good. So you do have a budget that you actually follow monthly. That is good. And so the polls are up for those of you online, and you can answer them. And then let's see how many of us averagely have a budget or not. Well, the results are out, and let me just, since it's anonymous, so we don't see anyone. About a fair amount of 70% plus said we do have a budget, and a few of us, including myself, we don't have a budget. And so the next the next poll is, do you follow your budget? Because many people create budgets, but do you follow your budget that you create? So you have a budget book.
We follow it, but the problem is the excess money after. We find we're just spending that as spending.
Okay.
Probably go into savings.
And you say,
That's
okay.
rich, yeah.
So at fairly, you would say you are able to follow it.
Yes.
A bit. Okay. Yeah. So I guess that was the next part. The question: do you follow your budget? And if the results are ready. Surprisingly, many people do follow their budget. As you can see, like about 50%, or not many compared to those who do have a budget. Yeah, 50% says they are able to follow their budget, and I guess the remaining are not able to follow a budget. And so, but just to dig in, I want to know, what is a budget in the first place? When we talk about budget, what is a budget?
It's pretty much like a spreadsheet breakdown of all the bills, everything that you need to pay. We broke it down with entertainment, groceries.
Yeah, so basically, if I understand you well, so a budget is basically like having a plan, a breakdown of how you plan to spend your money, right? So a budget is a breakdown of how you would like to spend your money. And rather unfortunately, from the polls, we realized that not many people follow their budget. And so that is interesting. So it makes me ask, like, why don't people really follow their budget? And one of the things that we found out that it's difficult for people to follow their budget is sometimes their budget is really things they wish to have, It's not based on their current situation. It's not real in their current life. And so they're like, oh, I would like to say, for example, someone earns like 2,000 a month, just an expense, and the person would like to save 1,500 a month. How is that? It's not a very realistic budget, because assuming you have to pay rent and bills and other things, it would be very difficult to do. So we have to try to keep budgets real. And the second part is sometimes we make the budget so tight, it becomes like a rope around us. It's very, there's no room to wiggle. So it's important to give yourself some flex room a bit and be aware of exactly how much you are earning, and just don't be too hard on yourself, basically. So if you create a budget, it's good that you are a bit flexible. And it's also important that they are based on your current values and lifestyle. So if you really enjoy hanging out with friends, unless you're having a drastic change of lifestyle, I think it's unrealistic to say for the next 6 months, I'm not meeting anyone at all. At least instead of meeting them every other weekend, you could reduce it to say 2 times in a month, and then eventually drop it to once a month. And so you have to make the budget work around you. So that's something that's very important to be aware of when talking about budget. And so talking about budgeting, for those of you who have done a budget before, these are key concepts that you have to be aware of. The personal net income, the fixed expenses, and then the variable expenses. As you can see on the screen, the personal net income is your take-home money. It's not the gross, it's not the total money you get, but after taxes have been divided, after, say, if you're paying your mortgage or your car insurance, everything else have been deducted. Your net, what actually is yours, you have to be aware of that amount. So most people create a budget with their gross income, which is why most of them don't work. But you have to be aware of the net income after all the things like insurances and taxes and your pension fund have been deducted. What is your real personal net income? And fixed expenses, which we are aware of, things you kind of can't live without, expenses you have to pay, like your rent, if you have a car, your car insurance, even gas is a fixed expense. And then the variable expense is, your groceries and entertainment and stuff like that. And so moving on, why is it important to even build a budget? And like with everything else we've discussed, it's important to have a budget because it falls under what we discussed in the first part, a goal setting, which is a plan. And so a budget is having a plan for how you go about your money. And we discussed what a budget is. And moving forward, there are about 3 types of budgets that we are going to discuss. The first one is called the zero-based budgeting. And then there's one that is fairly common I've seen on YouTube called the 50-30-20, if some of you are aware of it. And then there is the pay yourself first. And so the next slide, it's a video that it's on about the zero-based budgeting. And basically, let's see what it is about and what we can learn from it.
Action! What is a zero-based budget? Well, let's define a budget first. Your average budget is a monthly estimate of income and expenses with a list of categories. In other words, it's just a plan for your money. At Ramsey Solutions, we recommend taking it one step further with a zero-based budget. The idea here is simple. The money that comes in minus the money that goes out equals 0, meaning you've told every penny exactly where it's gonna go. Just like how you told that guy in traffic exactly where he was gonna go. Now, making a zero-based budget isn't as hard as it sounds. Step 1, list your take-home pay for the month. Step 2, list all your expenses for the month, but start with these 5 categories: food, shelter, utilities, transportation, and clothing. The basics. You want to make sure your rent or mortgage is budgeted first before you start budgeting for something like your hot yoga membership. Jeff. Once the necessities are taken care of, move to step 3. List the rest of your expenses like haircuts, Netflix, date nights, plus all the stuff your kids need. Man, Are kids really that expensive? Yep. Golly. Don't let life catch you off guard. Think ahead and plan for events or situations you need to save up for. Holidays, weddings, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, quinceañeras, chupacabras, you name it. You can even create a fund in your budget to put aside money every month so you're ready when that day comes. Christmas is on December 25th. Again, don't act simply estimate of income and expenses with a list of categories.
So, yeah, so basically that is what the zero-based budget is about, just an overview. So the zero-based budget is just to make sure every net income you get, you know exactly where every dollar is going to. And so at the end of the day, it should be equal to zero. Why the name is zero? But zero, it means that the place it goes to, there is a savings section in that. So there is like a template where people use, and as you can see on the board, this is like one of the templates where people use for the zero-based budget. So, and part of the zero-based budget is in part of the things or how you allot your money. There is a section called savings, and you allot as for the remaining after you clear all your expenses, a portion of your money goes to that side. And so at the end, you should make sure you don't owe anything as much as you can, but rather it's equal to zero. The remaining is in your savings. And then the other type of budgeting that we are going to talk about is a fairly common one, which is the 50, 30, 20, where it is estimated that, or you have to try to make sure that your expenses that you have, it's not more than 60%. But in recent times, say, I personally tried to do this, and the next one that will follow up, and my expenses is around about 60% of it. And then the remaining, in this case, the 30% goes to things you want. So your dinner, your meet out with friends, your movie cinema, and at least a minimum of 20% goes to savings. And so this is the 50, 30, 20 budgeting style. But what I can say is that you have to make sure that your expenses doesn't go more than 80% when you have a choice. You should try to live within your means and not your expenses go above your means. So you dedicate about 50% to your essential needs, your financial needs, and try to budget the remaining 20% for savings. So this was what I personally was using for some years ago. And then I flipped it around and I was even saving 30% and spending 20% on myself. So the most important is make sure that you make your expenses are not above your current net income. And the next part, which is what I'm currently on, or a mixture of the two, is paying yourself first. And it's as simple as it is, pay yourself first. But in order to, because what I realized was when I was doing the 50, 30, 20, after I was clearing all my expenses I had, I felt the money left was too small. And then after everything, there was not enough to pay myself or to save. And so once I became aware of paying yourself first, which also wasn't the best, I merged the two. And so again, what we are doing is just giving you the financial knowledge, foundational financial knowledge, so that you can learn more and build on it. And so, for example, like I was saying, I merged the 50, 30, 20 with paying yourself first. With the 50, 20, 30, 20, I became aware of the expenses I have on a monthly basis. And so, for example, if say I'm earning $1,000 a month and my expenses, my fixed expenses were say $600. So automatically I know that I have $400 left to spend. So the next thing I did was the moment I get paid, automatically I would split 50-50 and put 200 in savings. So I open the different savings account where the money is inside and I don't even touch it. And then I can, the 200 is for me hanging out, gas and other things. And so that was the idea. That's the idea behind it, the paying yourself first. And so this part we are talking about how to create a budget. And we are discussing the three types of budget, or there are more, but the three common ones, which is the zero-based budget. And then there's the 50, 30, 20. And now we are on the paying yourself first. And I gave an example where for myself, I combined a mixture of the 50, 30, 20 and paying yourself first. So once I'm aware of my expenses, once I get paid, I get my net income automatic. It's now I'm auto deposit that I don't have to do anything. The money is automatically deducted into my personal savings account. And so that's something you should be aware of for the paying yourself first. And in order to also cut down expenses, these are things that you can be aware of. So there are many people, or many of us, once we feel there's a need for us to have a phone, or now a phone is an essential part, is a need of life. But you don't need to have the most expensive plan on your phone. It's not a need. The need is to be able to have a cell phone and to be able to make calls. But you don't need 50 gig of data on your phone. You don't need 20 gig of data. Personal experience, I personally, because my personal finances is not the best at the moment, I switched careers and I'm on public mobile right now, which is on the screen. People are not even aware of it. But that gives me the freedom to, bring my finances down within the amount of money that I have. And there are some months where I go where I don't even buy internet on my phone. So I'm able to use the free internet that comes. So if I spend most of my time at work and in school, if I come to Mohawk College, which is where I am at the moment, there's free internet here. So I do all my web searches and everything here. And then if I go to work also, there is free internet at work. So really with my mobile phone, the only thing I can do is to call you. So I call my friends often now. If I'm not at a place where I get free internet, which is home, at work or anywhere else, if you send me a WhatsApp, you won't get me. That's why I always tell my friends, if it's urgent, call me, because you can't tell me I sent you a WhatsApp and you didn't reply, because I'm trying to live within my means. So I've now moved to a smaller career now, which many people are not aware of. So there is like Freedom Mobile, there is when Charter and other ones. I compared all of them, and the one that worked best for me was public mobile. It may not be the best for you, but I'm just saying, even though a phone and being able to reach people is a need in our current lifestyle, you don't need 20 gig, because most likely wherever you work or your school or even the town or city you live in, you may have access to free internet or free Wi-Fi. And so until you are able to afford this 20 gig or 50 gig you want, why don't you try to stick within your means? So yeah, that was just a point. So talking about here in North America and Canada, there's a lot of insurance companies. You also should be aware of them. They are good. Most insurances are good. Yeah, it's about trading your variable cost for your fixed cost. But even though they are good, you have to be careful. It's not everything that they show in your face is good. Before you sign on to any insurances, at least you have to ask questions, because every insurance is good, but not every insurance is good for you. So what is good for person A may not necessarily be good for you. So be aware that yes, there are insurances like if you have to drive in most countries, you need a car insurance, which is good. There are home insurances, even phone insurances, but even though insurance are good, you have to make sure that they are good for you. And so basically this part, we're talking about budgeting and also how we can go about budgeting. Now we are aware of the types of budgeting and things that comes within the budget. And so the key takeaways for this second session is taking control of your budget. When you create a plan, you have to be able to stick to the plan and move within the plan. And when you create a budget, what it does is it helps you to monitor your spending. And so that's one thing that you should be aware of. And also when you are buying something, we are aware of some factors that influences our buying decisions. And so we've discussed that also. So at the end of the day, once you set a goal, you should be able to at least put some kind of budgeting down, whether you go with a zero-based budgeting, whether you would go with the 50-30-20, or you would go with the pay yourself first. You have to have some kind of budget down. So moving forward, we are going to talk about savings, and you can see that everything that we've been talking about is boiling down. It's like once you have the goal for your financial goals, it's not just enough to just say, oh, I want to have this, or I dream to have this, or I wish to have this, but really making sure you have a SMART goal, getting that goal down. And then with that, having a SMART goals, when you break it down in a way, it becomes a budget, because you are going to put plans down. Okay, this is my expenses, this is how much I'm going to spend, and the remaining of the money, this is how much I'm going to save. So why should we even save in the first place? And that's what we are going to cover in this section, which is this is the last session, is a relatively short session. Why should we save in the first place? What is and also the magic of compound interest. Sorry, and also tips that can help us save. So what is saving? Most of us probably know it's just about being able to save something, not kill all the money you have, not spend all the money you have, but be able to save a portion of it down. Why should we even save? Why is it important to save? First of all, if you don't save, you can't achieve the financial goal you have, unless you have a rich uncle or auntie who is going to leave you a huge amount of money. You don't even know if he's going to leave it for you. So unless he has already left it for you already, you need to save. And even if he left you that huge amount of money, you need to have that kind of financial wisdom to know how to move with the money. And so saving a part of your money is important. It prepares you for unexpected things that happens in life. Life, there's not everything that we can plan for. There are some things like you can just have a car one day, you wake up and the car, some part is not working. And so why are you going to get money to fix your car? So saving is important, so we are prepared for unexpected things. And also, it makes us feel we are in control of our choices. The last thing is also, at the end of the day, it's better to know, when you are moving about and you have like $500 or more, or 10,000 saved, you kind of move freely. You feel comfortable that, oh, if anything happens to me, I have some kind of money savings there that at least I can rely on. So how do you save? The first way to save is to make money it has to be important. You have to set a savings goal. And again, we've come back to goals. When you're creating financial goals, saving, it's important. It should be part of your goals. And you have to reward yourself. Saving, the money is for you, or for some people also save for themselves and for their children or their future children. The money is for you, and it's a way to reward yourself. And at the end of the day, you have to be able to track your budget and your savings. And so this is just one video about compound interest. That was a relatively short video. We would play it, and then we'll talk about compound interest a bit.
And Lisa a return of 10% per year, and they each invest $1,000 called the principal. John wants to spend the interest each year and only keep the principal in the bank, while Lisa wants to save for 30 years, so she doesn't take the interest out each year. In John's case, the 10% amount to $100 each year. So after 1 year, he'll have $1,100 in his account, out of which he'll take $100. After the second year, he'll once again have $1,100 in his account, out of which he'll take $100. After the 30th year, he'll have $1,100 as usual and take $100. He will be left with $1,000 in his account. So his principal and the returns he made amount to $100 multiplied by 30, so another $3,000. A grand total of $4,000 that he made over 30 years. Lisa, on the other hand, will make more. After 1 year, she will have $1,100 in her account, but she keeps everything there. After the second year, she will earn 10% of those $1,100, and not only on the initial $1,000. Therefore, she will have $1,100 plus $110, so $1,210. After the third year, she will earn 10% of those $1,210 and have $1,331. After year 30, she will have $17,449.40, over 4 times more than John.
So as we saw, that is the miracle of compound interest. And basically what compound interest is, once you start saving your money, again, what we are doing is just the foundational, the financial for foundational knowledge. Eventually, you may have to, eventually you may have to probably invest your money or even savings your money. Like the many years ago where banks were giving large amount of compound interest when you save. And so it was it was very important that you leave all your money in the bank, because banks were giving a lot of interest. But now the interest rate for banks on the money you save is not so much. So eventually, once you get everything that we are talking about in this event or this presentation down, after you set goals, after you create a budget and stick to your budget, and after you've been able to save, then I would highly suggest, just a person said, that you look into ways where you can apply compound interest. And so that's the power of compound interest, where your when you leave your money for the longer duration of time, the interest rates would multiply over and over. And one way you can calculate your compound interest is the rule of 72. That's just basically, if you want to know the amount of time it takes to double your money, you would divide your money by 72. And so if you find any vehicle, savings vehicle, investment vehicle, that they say that you would get 2% per 2% interest, that means that if you put it to the rule of 72, it's going to take you about 36 years for your money to double. However, if you find a savings device or an investment device that says that is guaranteed 10% of interest on your money, then when you do the rule of 72, that's going to be about 9 to 10 years for your money to double. The key thing that I would like to mention is that you shouldn't be in a hurry to always double your money. Oh, there's this get rich quick scheme. But you have to be aware that financial wealth or financial freedom, as we discussed, it takes time. You won't just get up today and start your plan today. Next month, you will be financially free. But it's going to take a couple of probably years, and you have to be patient. So financial freedom comes with patience. What you should be aware is that once you analyze yourself every year, you realize that you're at a better financial place than you were last year. And that's the essence of this. Even though we are talking about a compound interest, you should not be in the rush for this get rich scheme. And now there are many people who are jumping on this cryptocurrency scheme. It may be good, but the thing is, you have to be careful. One thing I've realized, because I tried to invest in so many things and I lost so much, is that anything that is saying you are guaranteed this amount of money and stuff, if it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. It is really too good to be true. Really, financial freedom and financial independence takes time. And so you realize that things that take time, people don't have the patience. And so part of the financial knowledge is you have to be patient with how you stick to your budget. You save. The first time I was able to save about $200 ever from my own money that I worked for. I felt so happy. And then after a couple of days, I was so sad. I have only $200. I could spend everything in like 2 hours. And so I started looking for ways to save faster. But at that point, I tried to invest in some things which was too good to be true. So I learned later to be patient. And patience is really, if you want financial growth or financial independence with everything, patience is a key virtue. And so what are some of the tips when we want to save more? As you can see on your screen, it's better to save before you spend. And so that's where I applied it to my life when I was talking about the combination of the 50-30-20 and the pay yourself first. Once you are aware of, and you should be aware of your fixed expenses, your rent, the money that you have no choice but you have to pay at the end of the month. When you can and you pay and there's some money left, you should save first, even before you do any other things. And then the other tips we can give you is probably to spend less on transportation. That normally means if you are buying gas yourself, you are using a car, you are using the bus ticket that you pay for, it's not paid from the college, then you shouldn't go out to everything or everywhere. Also, you have to try to eat out less. I found out that cooking more, doing meal prep, preparing my meals to work and to school actually helped me save more money. And so the money that every day I'd buy Tim Hortons and stuff, I invested in, I like Tim Hortons, which is like a tea shop, a coffee shop here in Canada. I was buying it almost every day. I was spending $10 to $15 every day. But what I decided to do was to invest and buy a mug, a good looking mug, which cost like $20. And then I'll prepare the tea myself. But in the course of time, I saved more money from just buying a mug and preparing the tea myself. So now I would buy Tim Hortons maybe once a month, which it's better than what I was buying it almost once every 2 days or every day. And so again, don't waste money on extra charges. That's what we're talking about, learning to live within your means. And when I shared the personal experience of changing phone carriers and now sticking to public mobile, even though I don't have full internet. So if you need me, you have to call me and not send a WhatsApp because I can only call you. And yeah, again, you have to cut back on certain vices. And so basically, these are some tips that we have for you. So what are the key takeaways that you can get from this session? You have to know how to save, because saving keeps you in control. Once you are able to save a portion of your money, you are aware that you're able to create a budget, stick to it, and you are in control of your money. You have to make savings important in your life. It doesn't matter how small you start. Initially, when I started as a student, I was working minimum wage, and I was then an international student, so I couldn't even work more than 20 hours a week. And so my first savings, I remember so well, was I was saving only less than $50 or 50 euros. At that time I was in Germany. From the amount, I was being paid 450 a month. And from that, I was saving 50 a month. Even though it was a small amount, I was subconsciously training myself to get used to savings. And so when I became aware, when I started earning more, it was easier for me to save. So you have to start saving today so that it will become a habit that you take into your future. So in summary, what we've discussed today is about goal setting, being aware that you can't just say you want to be rich, but your goal has to be smart. And you also have to have a budget. And so goal setting, we discussed about money, the factors that influence the decisions we make, having a roadmap, and also setting SMART goals. That's what we discussed in the first part. And then the second part was taking control of your budget, where we spoke about the 3 types of budget: the zero-based budget, the 50, 30, 20, and then the paying yourself first type of budget. And so this will help you to monitor your spending. And then again, when you are buying things, be informed the factors that influence you. And then the last part, we just spoke about savings, where it will help you. It's good to make it a priority in your life. And no matter how small of an amount you have, if you are getting some income, if possible, you should save something, even if it's just $1 or 2 or 3 euros or 5, which wherever you are, it's always important to start. And so that is what we've been discussed today. So yeah, the next step is basically, as we said, set SMART goals, save a certain portion of your money, and make sure saving is important for your life. Thank you very much for your time and your patience of bearing with me. And now, if you have any questions, anything that you would like us to help you with or get better understanding, you can write it in the chat. We would see it. There is a questions place, and also Rian, you can ask us any questions. We have our 2 experienced people here. They would
Probably gonna book them for my questions.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yes.
Yes. And if you're online, you can also definitely ask a question. There is a section in this WhatsApp that is called Q&A. You can type your questions inside, or you can even put it in the chat if you don't mind. I won't see it, but go to the Q&A section and we can see your chat. Thank you, Dumini. I see your text your chat. So are there any questions? Those here in person says they would book an appointment to have their questions answered. So that's good. Any questions for us from the chat? Let's see.
Lindsay, Alexandra, were there a couple questions ahead of time?
Yes, you're right. We're gonna pull them up.
Okay, great, thank you. Just make sure I think a couple people had submitted questions ahead of time, so I'll make sure to try to answer those. Great job as always, Samuel, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So the first question that we had was, how can I make my money work for me? Are high interest savings account worth it?
You want to try that one, Samuel, or you want me to chime in, or?
No, you should chime in.
Okay, fair enough.
and then maybe at the end, if I have an idea or two, I'll add up, but you can chime in.
Okay, I will start. Yeah, and really one of the most important things to be thinking about when you're like putting money into a high interest savings account or things like that is, what is your sort of time horizon? When do you need the money? And make sure that you're not, don't put a whole bunch of money into crypto that you need in 3 months. That's not a great idea. But high interest savings accounts can be very beneficial. The interest rates have been going up as the Bank of Canada has been raising interest rates. Do make sure to shop around and check out the rates, because they do vary quite a bit. But you can probably get upwards of 2.5%, maybe even as high as 3% on some of the high interest savings account right now. Do also be aware of the fact that the financial institution you're investing with should have CDIC insurance, Canadian Deposit Insurance Corporation, and that ensures that if something does happen in the bank, it doesn't very often happen, very, very rarely happens, but you're insured up to $100,000 of deposits. So make sure that if you're putting money with one of the newer banks for high interest savings account, that you do have the CDIC insurance. You also may want to look at, again, depending on your time horizon, you may want to look at things like GICs right now, guaranteed investment certificates. You can get 4+% for a year, out as high as close to 5% for 5 years. Now, the one thing that's not as good with GICs is you can't really get your money out without possibly paying a penalty ahead of the maturity date. So the high interest savings accounts, you can take the money out within a day or two and have access to it, which that flexibility has a lot of value. And then maybe lastly, if your time horizon is longer, 5+ years, investing in the stock market or other longer term investments may make sense, but it's kind of beyond the scope of this workshop and something that'll be covered in a future workshop. Samuel, do you want anything to add, or?
No, I think that you said pretty much everything. So that's good from my end. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so the second question that we had come in earlier was including the explanation of living a healthy life, how to keep that maintained. So I'm pretty sure you guys covered this, but I guess kind of in the goal setting of maintaining things.
Sorry, can you read the question again?
Include the explanation of living a healthy life, how to keep that maintained.
Okay.
So I think how to live within your budget, I think, is what they're trying to get at.
Yeah. Chad?
Samuel, you want to take that, or do you want me to?
I could. Okay, I could try, but I think that's. Yes.
That's odd.
Noun.
Some echo. Oh, I know why. I know.
Noun. Good.
I think that's better.
Okay, so I think if I understand the question correctly, it was talking about how to maintain the
How to maintain a healthy life,
Life.
and I think within the budget, I think is kind of what they were trying to get at.
yeah. So I mean, I can only share from what I've learned and my experiences, and I've fairly learned a fair amount about money and finances. And I think that how to maintain everything is, first of all, you have to be aware of your current situation. And so if you want to maintain a healthy lifestyle in your normal life, you have to be aware of your current lifestyle. And so in regards to this finance discussion that we had, that would be that, again, you have to sit down and have a financial analysis. You have to be aware of the expenses you have, and then go back to the second part that we spoke. You have to now create a budget that works with it. And so every now and then our financial stage will change. There will be certain times you may earn more or less, but whatever stage that you are in, it's always good to be aware. So the first stage of maintaining a healthy lifestyle in anything, whether health or in finance, is to be aware at the level you are at. And then you would create you should have a goal. So that falls again to what we said. So what goal would you like to achieve? And you have to plan it. It should be a SMART goal. That is also real. And so when you follow what we discussed about a SMART goal, it should be things that are real to you and you should be able to achieve them. And in the process of achieving that goal, you need a budget and you need to save. And so basically in doing this, I believe that it's a journey. It's not a one-stop destination, but the process of getting to that goal, you should be able to maintain it once you are aware and you have a budget that you work with and you are able to save. Chad, if you can add something.
Yeah, I think you've covered it well, Samuel, and definitely, like, if you go back through what Samuel's talked about over the past hour or so, a lot of the things are really behavioral and trying to form habits. And as you do these things more often, as you set your own budget, set SMART goals, things like that, as those become habits, then maintaining a financially healthy life becomes easier and easier. And as you can start to build up savings with some of your excess inflows, that can help build upon itself with things like compound interest. So just don't be disappointed or frustrated if it takes some time. These things are, again, like they're trying to form habits. It's like working out 3 days a week, 4 days a week kind of thing. It takes some time to make that a habit, but once you start to make that a habit, once it's more natural for you, you can just build from there, and it becomes easier and easier as you go along.
Yes. Any more questions? I see that some people are giving tips in the chat. That is good. I see a tip on opening a bank account from Domini, and also to share my experience, maybe for us, the young summer students. So like when I came to Canada, which was just last year, and I just made a few friends, and I asked everyone, which bank account do you say? And they all recommended a certain bank account for me because that's what they were saving. However, when I went to check the bank account and the charges, it didn't sit well with me. And so I went online to do just a tidbit on some of the tips that our fellow students are throwing in the chat. I just went, as it was as easy as spending 30 minutes behind my PC on internet, just checking banks out and their rates. And I went to 2 banks to talk to them like, hey, I'm in school, I'm a student. I didn't want a bank account that would charge me for me just putting money there. And so at the end of the day, I found a bank that I was able to go to that I don't pay anything on my current account, and I'm able to save. And so just like what Domini is saying in the chat, there are some bank accounts that are very good for you if you are a student, or even when you work, because I know some banks will work with certain hospitals, nurses, and yes, schools or universities. So you should be aware of the options you have and you should definitely check what works for you, not necessarily what everyone is recommending. It's good to ask for recommendations, but at the end of the day, you have to ask, does it work for me? So that's something I wanted to add.
Great points. There's another good comment in the chat there as far as really understanding your needs and wants. It's a great thing that the more you're aware of that, and the more you help have your spending more driven by really things you need can be a great thing. Another way of thinking about that is, as you start to work, try to live beneath your means. So if you're making X dollars, try to make sure you're not spending all of that. You're putting some of that away into savings. That you don't need to spend everything that you make. And that's where you really, if you're focused more on things that you really have to have, that can be a great thing.
Also, I think Lee De Leon just part of the comment, like SMART goals is a really great help for us as students. It's not only good for only a student, but it is good because it's something that I use in my life a lot, and it really helps me achieve almost every goal. Like every target, every goal I have, I apply this SMART principle. It's one of the things that I use in almost every angle. Even my school life, if there was a point where when I was in Mohawk or in all my schools I've been to since I matured, I created a SMART plan, right, to study. And so I would study Mondays to Thursdays. I never studied on Fridays because that's when I'll meet up with friends, go to parties and stuff. And so I created a plan that worked for me. Monday to Thursday, every day I would spend at least 30 to 1 hour, not more than an hour, going over the notes and stuff. And since I started doing that, it really helped me. So even when I was getting to the exam week, I felt a bit relaxed because I have been every day after class, I go over notes. And so I'll do the Friday one on Monday. So Monday would be 1 hour. So I'm just to add to what you guys are saying in the chat, that indeed SMART goal is good, but it's even more helpful when you apply to all other aspects of your life. And I have a question for Chad and people on the chat, if you can help me. So the question I have is, what if I've learned everything from this event and I would like to save. However, in the current situation I'm in, I'm an international student. And so every money I make goes into all my expenses. I can only work 20 hours a week. So with the money I get, it's going to my savings, and I have to buy food and other rent. Sorry, not savings, it's going to rent and all my expenses. And so of what use is this seminar for me anyways, if I can't save? And how do you suggest I improve my financial life? Chat or anyone in the chat.
So, and I don't know exactly all of your details, Samuel, but as you're going through your budget and looking at your expenses, sounds like you've maxed out your income. Maybe there's other sources of income you can find, scholarships, bursaries, things like that. Maybe that's another way to help on the inflow side. But make sure to be going through on the expense side and make sure that there's nothing that you can save a bit of money on in addition to what you're already doing, because saving doesn't have to be a large amount of money. Like you can put away, $5 every couple of weeks. But again, it's that habit, it's that routine of doing that really helps you kind of build from that. So try to find ways to put away just, a few dollars every couple of weeks and put it into maybe a high interest savings account and just let it accumulate and build up a little bit. If it's impossible, if your expenses are such that you can't do that, that's fine too, because at least you're not taking on debt, or like especially credit card debt and things like that. But I would encourage you to go through and see if there's any room on any side of the inflows or the expense side, and try to get into the routine of putting away even just a few dollars. It doesn't have to be hundreds or thousands of dollars a month. Just that routine, that habit of putting away a little bit can really help longer term for yourself.
Okay, thank you. Just to add,